So recently I've had a couple of players out with me on the golf course, and we're talking good players here. We've got a professional and a +3 handicapper, and they are getting the basics wrong. The basics being alignment. Now, it's a pretty boring subject, isn't it? But how important is it to everything? Well, I think it's absolutely vital. So the pro's Pete Finch. So you know Pete from YouTube. And Finchy was on this particular day aiming with his feet and his body 50 yards to the left of the target. Okay, told me that he was getting a little bit dropped under it with his technique. Okay, so club coming a little bit too far from the inside, and this was then meaning that that ball was starting a little bit more right than he wanted to, but it definitely had a weaker ball flight. Okay, so if we think about it, his alignment was so far off, but his intent to hit it towards the target where his vision was making him organise the movement to get it online. So if you guys got dartboard there and I'm over here, I will find a way within my action to get it there. So is it the swing that's created the fault? No, it's the alignment that's created the motion fault. So what we need to first of all look at is, how do we get the basics like that alignment done? So when we have a look at Finchy, first thing we did is aiming 50 left, squared the stance off. Okay, squared the stance off, but because he was aiming so far left, the ball position had gone further back. Now, when you hit a ball earlier in an arc, you will generally deliver a club face that is more open. The law of a circle. So as that club is coming through that circle, if we say at the bottom here is square, later is close, earlier is open. Just as simple as that, okay? So ball position has a huge correlation to what that club face is doing. So we squared the stance off for Finchy, and we got him to get the same swing feeling that we know is correct, okay? And the ball started further right and went miles off, lost ball. Good job, he gets them for free. We then stand there, and what we had to do was then put the ball position forwards, because he now went, every time I make that swing, that new action, that's the outcome I get. Videoed it, show him. That ball position, as you can see, is probably 3 to 4 balls back in away from his heel. So we pushed it forward to somewhere near the heel, okay? That fell outside the toe to him. Show him the visual. The feel versus the real is, couldn't believe it. Hits the shot, nails it, just on perfectly on the intended start line, fell towards the finish line that he saw in his mind's eye of the golf shot that he wanted. Conversely, the +3 handicap lad, aiming right, okay? What is he doing then? He's learning to pull it back to the target. So therefore, he's not getting as good sequence from that lower body, meaning that him hitting start line, and then really critical to him was, he's quite long, he has a lot of wedges into greens, all of his wedges have been missing left. They've been missing left because the swing fault had come in based off the basics of alignment. Now I see that we all get this pretty wrong, okay? I spend more of my life than ever on the golf course in the summer, okay? Because it's where we play the game. We can't get this wrong on a driving range because we've got a square mat, okay? It's really not that difficult to get wrong in my studio, because again, we've got the basic things that help with alignment. On the golf course, with the intent of the golf shot and what you're trying to do, that's when it all goes wrong. Let's jump to the tee and have a look at what things you can do to help you, some little tricks to guarantee that you can start to get the correct alignment and the correct ball position all the time. So when we have a look at this now, we're obviously on the tee box, we're hitting an iron down this par 4 just for precision. Okay, so now what we're going to do is having a look at where that target's going to be. So what I like is, there's a big conifer tree in the distance, okay? I like the ball starting at the left edge of that conifer and just doing a very, very slight peel fade if it can. Now I'm not a fade player, but I'm going to really try to exaggerate it a little bit. It's a bit more of a push cut for me as my type of player, but I will still get the ball flight that I want, so I have to aim a fraction more left because it's an inside fade, keeping that face held open. Now, what I'm going to do is, in terms of getting alignment good, okay, is I'm going to make sure that, knowing what my dominant eye is my right eye for me, so I'm going to have my right eye open, left eye closed. I'm going to step behind the ball. and I'm going to cover the golf shaft over the ball. Justin Rose does this a lot, okay, in fact all of the time. So I've now got my target line on the left edge of that tree covering the ball. I bring that down until I can find a spot that's in front of the golf ball. Now there is a spot right here that I'm going to start the ball over, okay, and it's a very, very, very small spot. So that's where my attention is to hit it over that. So now what I will then be doing is, knowing that that's where my start line is, okay, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to align that club face to this, and the important bit is stepping in right foot first. If you step in left foot first, it's really easy to get close to the target line, okay? So stepping in right foot first, it's very easy to get everything aligned correctly. So I've got the club aimed where I want the ball to start, stand slightly left, so that then means that I'm going to hit that little cut, or attempt to, and then from there, I'm just going to try and get that feeling of hitting that nice little cut into play. It's just gone up that left side and just starting to very slightly come back. It's not a lot of cut because it's never going to move a lot for me, but that's the ideal pattern that I was after. But the key for you, figure out which is your dominant eye, okay? Loads of exercise online to do this. It's really, really, really simple. Once you know it, you can figure out which one you're going to use to help you with the alignment, and then from there be very precise with the alignment of the club face, and then organise the foot alignment for the ball flight you want to have. And then above all, make sure that after you've played tournament golf, go and practice and have a reset day. I've said this for years that it's important you have these. So to all my players, there's a video that I did a long time ago to do with this. Make sure you go back and you understand your fundamentals, and therefore your swing then comes back to taking care of your tendencies to keep you playing your best golf all the time.